Hello, in this video what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at accessing Zend server for your local instance. To do that, you simply click on this button here that says Access Zend Server, and then this will load up the UI that's available on there. Now there are three primary things that you will want to be familiar with in Zend server on here. The first one is going to be event monitoring. If any events have occurred, you will click on the events tab here, and then you'll see a list of them there. We'll generate one in just a moment here. The way you define the events that you want to be watching for is you can click under Rule Management here, and you will see a list of all the individual events that are actually going to be available there. So what we'll do here is we'll try and induce both a high memory usage as well as a fatal PHP error. So I'm going to go to my application container and just create a empty PHP application. I call it test. And now that it's up, I'm going to go back into my remote system here, and I will connect in. And in here, I'll simply create an index.php file. And let's edit that file. And make sure that we are actually working with it here. So I'll open that up. And we see that the application is running. So what we'll do now is we'll add some data onto this. So for I equals 0, I is less than some big number. And we'll just do data concatenate uname or PHP uname, just to put something in there. And we'll now run it. And we got a server error. Let's check out our individual events. And we have severe high memory usage, and we have a fatal PHP error. So what we're going to take a look at now is code tracing. What you can do in your application container is you can actually turn on code tracing for your individual application. We'll click on here, and we will enable it. We can also do this on an event-based basis, but we're just going to be enabling it here through the UI so every call gets traced. So what I'll do is rather than just doing this, I will create a new function. And we'll just call set data. The reason we do this is because code tracing will follow individual function calls that are made, but they won't follow individual lines of code like this. So by having this function call in here, we're able to more easily trace it. So I'll go back to my project and reload it. And again, we have our server error. If I reload this page then and click on code tracing, you'll see that one trace occurred there. We can also go back to our Zend server and go to code tracing. And you see that we have one on there. So I click on that. And now I can see what actually occurred in my application. I can take a look at this. I can take a look at the running time. And as we can see, this is a very long runtime on there. We can also see the statistics per function. We see that this was called 20,000 times. So we can utilize this then to get a lot of additional information about our application. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the job queue. And we're just going to set up a simple queue here. We're going to remove all this because this is bad. What I'm going to do is I have my index page, and I'm going to create a new script here. Just call it jq.php. And what I'm going to do for the job queue is I'm just going to have it count from 1 to 100. So we'll do for I equals 1, I is less than equal to 100, I plus plus, and echo I concatenated with a space. Easy enough. If we go back here, we will simply run jq.php, and we see that it counts from 1 to 100. Now we're going to call this remotely because the job queue is really intended to allow you to do complex execution apart from your front-end request. So what I'll do here is I'll create a new session, and if not, session, or actually if not, is set session job queue ID. Session job queue ID is going to equal a new ID that we're going to create. So the job queue equals new Zend job queue. And set this to equal create HTTP job. We can pass data back and forth, but we're just, for this one, going to do just a simple one. So HTTP, name of the container, project x.zend.com/test/jq.php. So we've created it. Else, what we're going to do here is we're going to check to see if the job is completed. So I create a new job queue connection. And what we'll do then is we'll get our job info. Info equals JQ get job info. Passing the job ID. What we'll do is we'll check the status, which we can also do by calling get job status. But if info status equals job queue equals Zend job queue status completed, echo info output. Then we'll unset the session variable. So now we run it once, we'll run it again, and we can see now the output that came. If we take a look at the source, when we rerun it, we see that the job output includes both the HTTP headers as well as the body. So using this, you can easily create some level of asynchronous execution in your individual container. If you would like to have a more abstract layer, you can go to GitHub. And in here, there's a job queue API that you can use that allows you to create much more structured asynchronous execution. You can get details on that on eSchrade.com. We go down here to the job queue tag, and you'll see some information on how you can actually create that.